How's it going, creeps? Welcome to Cinema Creep. As always, my name is Drucifer, and welcome to Gruesome Game Night. So, Gruesome Game Night is usually on Tuesday nights, but I'm trying to fit in extra streams throughout the week. So, here we are on a Thursday night. And as you guys could see the title of the video, I am going to be playing Alan Wake 2 again. I've talked about this ad nauseum now that this game is super gnarly. I'm really enjoying playing it, and I'm trying to get through it, right? This isn't one of those games where I just am going to be okay with not finishing, right? So I'm really trying to get through it, and it's going to take a lot of hours. What's up, y'all? Glad you are here. Stoked that you're back. Yeah, so Alan Wake 2. The story is phenomenal. Played a little bit earlier to try to get us a little bit further along, and the story still continues to get deeper and deeper and thicker and thicker. 20,000 words in like 50 minutes. Holy crap. What are you reading, if you don't mind me asking? Yeah, so before we start though, I do want to give a shout out to all the channel patrons, and I feel like that is the appropriate thing to do at the beginning of all live streams. So, we're going to start, and we're going to see if I can do it off the top of my memory. And channel patrons are Frank Rambo, Edgar Allan Doe, Club Cavera, I believe I'm saying that correctly, Boom Squad Gaming, Rainbow Crewmate, Silverbat, Nicholas Woodall. Holy crap. I know I'm missing somebody. I just drew a blank. Yeah, so all the patrons, hang on. Let me bring it up here. So the cool thing about the Patreon is some of these streams like this, I'm going to start doing completely for the channel patrons, maybe doing exclusive streams every month. So if you're interested in that, check out the channel Patreon. It will be linked up in the chat constantly from the little chat bot. What's up, Frank? Glad that you found me on this random Thursday night. Not a typical streaming night, as I was mentioning. I'm just giving a shout out to all the channel patrons. We have 9, and let me make sure that I have all of you guys shouted out here. I don't even know how to work Patreon, so bear with me. It's a growing pain over here, guys, for me. Let me see. Oh, I think I got everybody. Lulu Lala. Yep, I got everybody except for Lulu Lala. So, I knew I wasn't really forgetting anybody. Yeah, so reading that quick is a gift. Now, the thing about it is do you remember what you're reading? If you remember what you read and you can read that fast, then that is amazing, I like the thought of sitting down and reading a book. I like the thought of getting coffee, sitting down somewhere nice and cozy and reading, but oftentimes, my mind just won't let me do it. I just constantly keep thinking and thinking of other things I should be doing, and quickly gets, interrupted. And I hate it, I think the last book that I read was... Hang on, I'm thinking... It was probably... Oh, man. I have a bookshelf right here. I'm trying to think of what it could have been. It was probably this horror screenwriting book that I have. And, yeah, I don't believe so much in screenwriting books. I think a lot of screenwriting books are just pure, cash grabs. But the one that I have basically breaks it down. It's not really like a how to write a screenplay, but it deconstructs screenplays. and that book is really good if you're into like writing, screenplays, I guess, or scripts or whatever you want to call them. Frank, how is your night going thus far? Um, I know it's been all of 24 hours since I talked to you. Yaz, it's been a couple days. Have you guys watched anything good in the meantime? I watched a show on Hulu called Out There, right? It's like an episodic type show where it's like accounts of people, I guess, believing in conspiracy theories. I only watched the first episode. And the first episode was talking about lizard people, right? People that believe in lizard people. Because you know how there's a conspiracy theory where, like, unfortunately, a population of the United States, I'm not sure if this is the same over in Australia or globally, but believe that the world is ran by lizard people, like a reptilian race. And as sexy as that sounds, it is extremely like far-fetched, right? And it was talking about like QAnon and all these people that are believing in this reptilian race and how they are all over the internet, all over the world, and there's forums of these people, right? And if you guys remember a couple years back, Yaz, I don't know, this is sort of like something that happened in America. I don't know if you saw the news or not, but this dude in Nashville, Tennessee, packed an RV full of bombs, made a bunch of bombs, packed his RV full of it, and blew up one of the main streets in Nashville, Tennessee. And turns out it's because he believed in this reptilian race, right? Once they started like checking out the guy and looking at like his internet search history and what his like political beliefs were and all this stuff, it all stemmed back to him believing that there was a reptilian race that was running things. And it's really crazy. And I think that his ultimate goal was to bring attention to that by blowing up his RV and blowing up the street. So just to let you know, those people are out there. They're working at your local DMV. They're picking up your trash. They are checking you out at the grocery store. And they're also probably running for political office, and they believe in reptilian races. So pretty gnarly. That is an amazing skill to have, to be able to read that fast and remember it. I wish I could do that. So y'all said, watch some random movie, don't remember the name. A science teacher being a perv towards his student who does an OnlyFans. So it must have been like a newly released horror movie. Yeah, the lizard people thing is absolutely batshit crazy. But, if you want to believe in lizard people, but you're not like hurting anybody, by all means, believe in the reptilian overlords. I think they were trying to say like the Clintons were like reptilians, which is, I don't know, interesting. People really weird me out. So being safe here in the studio is always nice. Other than that, right? Let me think. What else have I watched? Still on that Dexter grind with my wife, right? We are trying to make it through the original series, right? Because, like I said, without repeating myself too many times on this, there is the second Dexter series, right? The sequel series or whatever the hell you want to call it, like, and that is called Dexter New Blood. And then I think last year, the beginning of this year, they said, hey, we're releasing 2 more Dexter series, a prequel to the original and then a sequel to the New Blood. So I want to make sure that I'm, up on all my Dexter facts, characters, side stories, anything that could potentially come up in the new series. So, like I said, watching that through. They were saying Zuckerberg is a lizard man, and he kind of is, you know, if anybody's a lizard person, it's definitely Zuckerberg. But he's looking healthier. I think he sucked the blood out of a good percentage of America, and now he doesn't look like he has a vitamin D deficiency. So Frank says lizard people is crazy, but birds definitely aren't real.
Hail to the king, baby.
So I think that that is also a funny theory about birds being drones, and you know, that was a good laugh during the Obama presidency, right? When that came out, I was like, there was people that really truly believed that, and it's really interesting. So speaking of birds, today, my wife and I we were sitting on the front porch, and there was a shitload of birds. It was almost deafening, right? Moving from tree to tree on our street, right? And the amount of birds, like, in one place is probably the most I've ever seen. And then when they would scatter, it looked like the tree would explode, right? Because there was just so many damn birds, and then they would fly to another one, and they were just all chirping and making a bunch of noise. It was absolutely insane, and I don't know why they've been doing this, but they've been doing this for like the last, I don't know, week on a daily basis, and I don't know. It's really, really strange because I've never seen it the entire time that we've lived here. The birds getting together like that. So could be like an Alfred Hitchcock birds type of thing that's happening in my neighborhood. But who knows? So while we're on this topic, right? What is your favorite conspiracy theory? Whether you believe it or you don't believe it, right? What is your favorite conspiracy theory, for one? And two, right? What is your favorite cryptid? These are two questions that I have to know the answer to. So, Frank, I'm not totally sure that this is associated with the gang of birds that assaulted me, but my cat, right? I do have a cat that likes to kill birds, so I hope that they're not like getting ready to get my cat, because it's like, no bullshit, at least probably 200 birds, right? At least. And one cat, you know. I like Mothman and Skinwalkers as well. I feel like I've talked about this on stream before, but I always like to gauge people's favorite cryptid, when they first come into stream, or if I haven't asked them yet, because I feel like that's a good question to ask. I would like to see a horror movie about skinwalkers. Now, I know there's been skinwalker movies, and I could just be completely missing it here, but I feel like I would like to see a skinwalker movie that takes place on a reservation, right? Written and directed and shot by indigenous people. I think that would be so awesome, right? Mole people, yeah, mole people's another good one, right? That's also extremely frightening if you think about it. Um, have you guys ever seen that movie from Adam Green, the guy who did Hatchet and Victor Crowley, called Into the Morrow? It's a really solid movie. I don't think that's necessarily about mole people, but it's kind of about a hole in the ground and, like, shit coming out of it. So this morning your cat shredded a bird up. Yeah, they don't even like want to eat them. They just want to play with them, and it's just, I don't get it. So is that what different like sections of Australia are called? So forgive me for my like ignorance here, right? Are they called states over in Australia? Because I have no clue, right? Like, my Australian knowledge is like poor. I probably should um probably should learn a little bit more about it, because you're from Australia, or you live in Australia, and then Silverbat, another viewer, comes and they're from Australia as well, every once in a while, to the Friday night creep shows. And apparently, Cinema Creep is reaching Australia, which is super, super sick. So Frank says that he likes Bigfoot and Mothman. So if there was one that I thought was plausible, right? So all of South Australia is a state? I feel like I'm an idiot. Yeah, American education system, let's go. It's rearing its ugly head again. But so I feel like if there was a plausible, cryptid or conspiracy theory or whatever you want to call it, I feel like Bigfoot would be one of the most realistic ones, right? And then maybe the Nessie, like Loch Ness monster. Okay, so here's a question. Do you guys believe in the paranormal or the supernatural? Anybody in chat believe in the paranormal or the supernatural? Yeah, America is the moon landing, JFK, lizard people, and secret societies. Okay, so back up, Frank. Back up, right? Do you believe that the moon landing was a hoax? You once saw a shadow person in your hallway, but you hadn't slept for 3 days. So I have two occurrences, right? Like me, I'm a skeptic. I have two occurrences where supposedly, right, I saw a ghost. Okay. And I'll tell you guys real quick, right? Obviously, we're supposed to be playing Alan Wake, so if you're just tuning in, if you're watching the stream, I know there's some of you guys out there that aren't chatting, but feel free to chime in if you are, and we're going to get into Alan Wake 2 in just a minute, but we're telling ghost stories first, right? So I lived in an old farmhouse once, right? It was built, I think, beginning in the 1900s, something like that, right? It was old as fuck, right? If you've heard me tell my story, this is the house that I lived in when I was like in my teenage years, and so I remember waking up one night, right, and I had like a bed. Just imagine a square, right? And I had a bed that was up against one wall, and when I would sleep, I could see out into the hallway, right? And I remember waking up one night. The room had two beds in it. It was me and my younger brother's bedroom for a short period of time. Two twin beds, one on the left side of the room, one on the right side of the room. And I could see into the hallway, right? And I remember waking up one night and looking out in the hallway, right? And seeing a little girl. And the little girl was dressed in like a nightgown, and she had a teddy bear, right? And this little girl was like reaching out for me like this, right? And at the same time, as this little girl, like my vision was drawn to her out in the hallway, but to the right, where my little brother's bed was, there was a dude dressed in, I don't know what you would call it. He was dressed in like old timey clothing, sort of like what Gaston wore from fucking, is that Sleeping Beauty or Beauty and the Beast, right? Sort of what like Gaston, that dude wore, where he had like the tall like stockings and like the white shirt, like he was like in typo negative or something, it had like the frills and stuff, and he was like loading like a muzzle loader uh like rifle. And I was like, okay, freak me the fuck out, and I probably was dreaming this because, like I said, I'm a skeptic, right? But the funny part about this was, I did the whole cartoon thing where I pulled the blanket over my head, right? Whatever. I was probably 13 at the time. So never saw anything after that, right? Now, fast forward about 6 to 7 months, right? Me and all my friends, we lived in this house together, no parents, right? I was 14, going on 15-ish, right? That's a story for another day if you don't know it. But he was not rocking a top hat. I wish he had a top hat. He was rocking like just like slicked back hair. So fast forward to about 6, 7 months later, right? Me and like 5 or 6 of my friends I always hung out with were all hanging out. They all stayed over that night, right? And we were sleeping in the living room. So the living room is, let's say, I'm trying to give you guys a blueprint right here. The hallway goes across, right? And then the kitchen is over here, right? That makes sense. So there's a hallway in between the living room and the kitchen, right? And the room where I thought I had seen that, girl was up here, right? And the door was here where I could see into that hallway, right? So my friend, right, we were all sleeping in the living room here, right? We were all just sleeping on the floor, didn't have enough beds for anybody, didn't have any furniture. We were all sleeping in the living room on the floor. So my friend Brian, right, real name, true story. If you've heard me talk about my friend Brian, who is the punk kid that would shave in the side mirror of his truck and all that good stuff, same guy, right? He was walking from the living room, the living room to the kitchen, right, over here, down the hallway to turn the lights off, right? And we were all in the living room. Next thing I know, this dude comes running, sprinting back from the kitchen into the living room, and he's yelling, right? We're like, oh, fuck, what's going on, And he's like, oh, shit, I just saw something. We got to get the fuck out of here. And we're all scrambling because we don't know what the hell's going on. So me and my 5 other friends, right, we're all like getting up, trying to get our shit together, right, trying to turn on lights. And we run out the door, right, and we get into Brian's truck, which was an old Ford F-150, 3 seats in the front, and then just, the rest of us would ride in the bed of the truck. We all jumped in that motherfucker, right, and hauled ass down the dirt driveway away from the house and went to Walmart, because Walmart used to be 24 hours, and went to Walmart, right, the only place that was kind of near that was open. And this is where he started telling us the story. He's like, yeah, I was walking back and forth, or I was walking to the kitchen, turned the lights on, and when I came back, he said, I ran into just something, right? He had seen something in front of him, and he said it was a guy that was like 6, almost 7 foot tall, and he said he was wearing these old-timey clothes, right? And he kind of described his clothes, right? Like the frilly collar and all that stuff. Same shit I saw. And I'd never told him this story ever, right? Like, I'd never told my friends this because even when I saw it, I had just chalked it up that, like, okay, my mind's playing tricks on me, because I've always been a skeptic my whole life, right? And I'm still a skeptic. But it's kind of weird, right, that he saw something similar that I saw. And then I never saw anything after that, So that's my ghost story, right? Now I used to be like in that house. I would be there all by myself, right? And this house was in the middle of the country. And I could maybe show you guys on Google Maps this house. Maybe tomorrow, right? On the Friday Night Creepshow. We'll take a little journey on Google Maps and I'll show it to you. Show you how creepy it is. But, right, I used to be in that house all the time, and the house was carpet, and it was 2-story. And do you know, like, when you can hear somebody walking on carpet, like if it's real quiet, I would just be sitting there, right? Like watching TV or like, watching DVDs because that's what I had. I had like, a whole bunch of those like AP music video DVDs and samplers and shit that I would get from the magazines or get from like either FYE or from like Hot Topic or something like that. They used to sell those music video DVDs. I would sit and watch that because I didn't have cable or anything, and I would just hear that sound, right? Or like hear the sound of like somebody going up and down the steps because you know how like steps kind of creak in old houses, right? And yeah, I would just hear that sometimes, and I would be like, oh fuck, and I would look around. I'd pull one of these, but I would never see anything. And the house was really old, so it could have just been, the foundation falling apart because the foundation was pretty bad, you could put a ball in the center of the kitchen and it would roll down to one corner. What's up, Boom Squad? We're telling ghost stories here. So, it could have been the foundation just creaking, cracking, doing its thing, right? But, it was extremely creepy. And it scared the living shit out of me, and I had to live there by myself at 14 years old, so I didn't know what to think. Yeah. So that's my ghost stories. It is pretty funny how Walmart's a safe zone. It used to be the safe zone for people because now, right, Walmart, at least where I'm at, is closes at 11, I think. So Ya says, not a ghost story, but a few nights ago there was a scary sound. Chalked them up to possums living in my... Holy crap, only in Australia. Possums are living in the ceilings over in Australia. Nice. So just shout out Boom Squad Gaming. I got me a Boom Squad Gaming t-shirt. Ghosts don't even want to hunt Walmart, Frank says. Yeah, I mean... But I felt like I was going to die that day when Brian told me that he had seen that same guy. I thought it was over for us, especially since I had nowhere else to go. I couldn't really stay at any of their houses. Like I could, but it was like just an overnight thing, and then I'd have to go back to my home, right? I couldn't stay there for long periods of time because, everybody else had parents. Frogging possums. So frogging, right, is scary as hell. That's a whole nother topic. People that frog in your house, people that are living in your attic, people that are living in your walls and you don't know that they're there. Scariest shit ever, right? Like I could not imagine, And ever since I watched the documentary on frogging, I think that every time I go up to my attic, how gnarly would it be if I was going up there, like when I was putting Halloween decorations up the other day. I'm just going up there putting decorations up, and some dude is sitting in a tub just washing himself up in my attic, right? What would you do? Would you be scared? Would you be angry? Would you go straight into Chuck Norris mode and beat the hell out of that person, or would you just be inquisitive, like what the hell's going on, I don't know what I would do, right? I would probably honestly just be extremely taken aback. I probably scared the living shit out of me, and I would shut him up there, right? And then I would do that number like you see in movies where people start shooting into the ceiling or stabbing a sword into the ceiling trying to get them. That's probably what I would do. Ya says, if they didn't want to harm me, I would be fine because of housing crisis. Yeah. No, I'm definitely stabbing a samurai sword up in the ceiling trying to get them. So I almost I almost died in my attic one time. Let me tell you guys about it. So, years and years ago, we were driving around, me and my wife, and somebody was throwing out some life-size, um, I guess you could call them like cardboard cutouts, but they're actually made out of like kind of like thick wood. And the cardboard cutouts, or these cutouts, right, are of Elton John, right? These are life size. Elton John, Mr. T, and Madonna. Right, so I have a Mr. T one where he's flexing like this, right? Life size. A Madonna one, she's kind of posing to the side. She has the cone bra on. And then like the Elton John one, he's just kind of standing at the side looking fabulous, right? He has like glasses on, whatever. And these are life size, right? And these are all the way against the back wall of my attic. We had seen these on the side of the road and we had to bring them home. Because we're just like, that's weird as shit. Let's bring these home. And we put them up in the attic. And one time I went up there and the light was hitting Mr. T just right? Like I said, he's flexing like this. And I about lost my shit because I thought it was a person standing there. Scared the living shit out of me. And like I said, Mr. T's big, and it was like, what the fuck is this? I thought I was about to get clapped up in my own attic by some muscly dude that was flexing on me. But yeah, I'll bring those down one day and show you guys those. I'll bring them on stream. We'll have Mr. T on stream with us one night. Maybe Elton John. Yeah, but I almost fucking died. My heart, like if you've ever been so scared where it feels like your heart stops, right? Or sinks into your stomach. I've been scared like that a couple times in my life, and that was one of those times. It almost feels like getting electrocuted, right? Like not shocked, right? Like if you've ever been electrocuted. So there's a difference between being shocked and electrocuted, right? Like you touch something, like something metal, right? And you get a little like zap, or like if you were to like stick your finger in an outlet, you're gonna get like a little zap, or touch like a electrical fence, you're gonna get a zap, right? But if you've ever been electrocuted, right, that's sort of what it feels like, and you just kind of freeze and you can't fucking move, and like you don't know whether you're like in process of your spirit leaving your body and going to purgatory, or what's going on. Like I said, I've been scared like that a couple times in my life, but that was one time, and it was all because of this cardboard life-size cutout of Mr. T that I found on the side of the road. So yeah, flexing on me menacingly.
Oh, it was a terrible mistake, sir. Please, believe me, I would never do anything to offend a man of your size.
Yeah, I almost, died. And that would have been an embarrassing story for, my son and my legacy that, oh yeah, my dad died because of a cardboard cutout up in the attic. Wait, hold on. We're going to insert scary sound here. That's funeral sound, but it is what it is. So Yaz says, I heard sounds inside a house and thought it was the possums in my ceiling, but it sounded like it was inside. I was fine. Scary part was that it was a bird inside my house getting shredded up, and I couldn't find all the parts. So that's scary. Sorry, I wish I had some scary music. I need to put some on the soundboard. So when you guys tell me scary stories, I can, play it.
It's got a death curse!
And I need to work on my scary voice as well. I don't have a very scary storytelling voice. Yeah, so that happened. I have been electrocuted a couple times, like I was talking about. I was a electrician for a good portion of my life, on and off for about 7 years, right? And I got electrocuted like twice. So like really electrocuted where I kind of like, in Home Alone where Marv gets electrocuted and you see his fucking skeleton. Yeah, I was electrocuted like that twice. And never again, right? Never again will I do some sort of shady shit that people are like, yeah, crawl up in that hole up there. There's 2 wires. You need to connect those. Because that was me, right? I was always the smaller guy on the crew. And when they needed somebody to crawl in that hole, basically do something that nobody else wanted to do, it was me. Get in that hole. And I was like, okay, at like 21 years old, I didn't know any better. Get in that hole. Okay, I'll do it. And, resulted into getting electrocuted 2 different times. But here I am, alive. But if the electricity would have taken me out back then, you know what? I would have never got scared by Mr. T. So, it's a double-edged sword. What can you do? Scary Terry. That's that Rick and Morty, right? That the Rick and Morty Freddy Krueger thing. I only know that because I saw it somewhere. I don't watch Rick and Morty. Even though I know like everybody loves it, everybody references it, I never could sit down and get into it. What's up, Craig? Glad you're here, Craig. We're telling ghost stories before we get into Alan Wake 2. Yeah, so I have people coming and going that are just like dropping in that aren't chatting, which is completely fine. But if you're out there, you're viewing, you're not chatting, share a ghost story. Or just say, hey, because there's no judgment here. I mean, I constantly tell embarrassing stories about myself and my family past, right? Not my current family, but like stories of my weird uncle and weird dad and all that stuff. So no judgment. Feel free to tell me your weird ass stories. Yeah, I mean, honestly, what would you do, Frank, if you saw either, okay, I don't know if you do. Let's assume you have an attic or a basement, right? I'm sure you have either one, probably an attic. And I did not do electrical work in Texas. I worked, so most of my electrical career, let me back this up. So most of my electrical career was in Charlotte, North Carolina. I worked on almost every building in uptown Charlotte. High rises. I worked on the Duke Power Energy building, the one that has the triangle up top with all the colors when that was first being built. Your boy wired up with one other guy. This is an interesting story. So another story, right? So me and this guy, right? I can't remember his name, but he was an older gentleman. So I was like 19 years old. I think it was like 19 years old when this building was being built. And he and I got tasked with, okay, you two are going to wire up every bathroom from the ground level all the way up, right? And I think this had like 50 stories or something like that, right? So every day me and him would come in and we would just work in bathrooms, wiring up the bathrooms, right? Pretty easy, pretty simple. It was a good time. But the more I got to know this guy, he was like 45, probably at the time, mid-40s. The stranger this became, because it would just be me and him on a floor, nobody else, right? And this guy would come in and he would tell me stories about swinger parties, right? Because he was a swinger. Him and his wife were swingers. And he would just tell me about what happened over the weekend. He would give me all of the details, shit that I didn't want to hear, right? And I'm just sitting there trying to do my job, right? Just over here wiring up like an outlet or something, right? And he's just telling me every detail of his swinger party, and I'm just like, at 19 years old, I'm like, oh my God, who is this dude? I wish he would leave me alone. And this guy, right? So him and his current wife This was his second marriage. His previous wife, his ex-wife, right? They used to go to swinger parties, right? He met his current wife at one of the swinger parties they went to, and him and his ex-wife, they had left each other to marry other people that they met at the swinger parties, and they would still go, and they would still go to the same parties with where his ex and this other person was at. They basically just swapped wives, I guess, and they would still go and they would swing together. It was really strange. He was a weird ass dude. But apparently, he would tell me all these things. He's like, yeah, North Carolina is like one of the top swinger states in the country, and like, here's how if your neighbors swing. They do this, and they put these kind of yard like ornaments out, like flamingos and stuff like that. And if people have flamingos in their yard, it means they're swingers, and it's signaling to other swingers. And I'm like, this is fucking a whole secret society of shit that I don't want to know about. But yeah, he was one of those guys, and you guys know here at Cinema Creep, we're all about equality. And he was a very equal kind of guy, women, men, 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 women, men and men, and women and women, and men and men. That's the kind of guy he was, and he would tell me all about it. He's like, in the dark, it doesn't matter. And I was like, oh my God, I'm just like wiring up my switch a lot quicker. I'm like, okay, maybe I can get ahead of him, and I can go to the next floor and leave him down here. So if you're 19 in America, you're considered an adult. After 18 in the United States, you're considered an adult. Are you actually, like, mentally, emotionally? No. But you are considered one, right? America has some weird things going on. You said it's just skin, Steven. Yeah, he was a strange coworker. I don't even know how I got on that topic. Oh, being an electrician, yeah. So those are the kind of people that are wiring up your bathrooms in America, just so you know. Oh, pineapples. Pineapples equal swinger. So I will tell you this. The only thing I know about pineapples, and this is kind of gnarly, right? So me and my wife and son, we spend time in Savannah, Georgia, right? That's where we like to go. It's where we like to vacation. Sort of like an amazing place. Home away from home. Considered one of the most haunted places in America, right? Quote unquote. That's what they say. And first time we went, they were telling us about this Southern tradition, right? And the Southern thing with pineapples is, if you guys know this, let me know. But apparently, pineapples, you keep a pineapple on your mantle, right? This is what they used to do back in the day. On the mantle of your fireplace or somewhere in a common space in your house, right? And when you remove that pineapple from the mantle or from wherever it is, right? It's like a decorative pineapple, and you remove it, then it means people are supposed to get the fuck out of your house. And I don't know why you wouldn't just tell them to leave, but it's like a proper thing, I guess. Like a way they used to do it. Like, all right, I'm taking the pineapple off the mantle, and then people would like leave. And they told us about this in Savannah, Georgia. That's where I learned about it for the first time, with some other really cool like Southern facts. But yeah. So if you ever go to somebody's house and you see them remove a pineapple, they want you to leave. Either that or they're a swinger, like Yao said. And one of two things are about to happen, right? It's either time for you to leave or time for you to get undressed. And if you don't want to get undressed, you should probably leave. Yeah, 21 is drinking age here, Yaz. 18 is drinking age in Australia, huh? That sounds like that is a nightmare, right? I can just imagine, right? A bunch of 18-year-old kids just out there fighting scorpions and camel spiders and, possums in their attics, just drunk as shit. So these cardboard cutouts, right? They're stacked on top of each other. And if Elton John would have been in the front, he would have been the one that scared me. Mr. T just happened to be the one that's in the front because they're stacked on top of each other, leaning up against the wall. I'm going to have to show you guys these on stream one night because they are... so somebody hand-painted them, right? Like, they're not store-bought. They're not like a photo cardboard standee. Somebody cut them out of wood or some kind of thick material, and they hand-painted them, right? So they are like... Somebody took a lot of time doing this. And I don't know why the hell they were throwing them away. But we had to have them because, you know, why not? You know, it's right up our weird alley of stuff. Speaking of weird alley of stuff, so we went thrifting today, and actually I left all of this stuff in my car. I wish I would have brought it in, but we got this, like, I don't know, it's huge. It's probably like I don't know, how big can I make my arms? This big painting. Like some artist, right? I think he's out of Charlotte, had spent a lot of time painting this mountain scene with a barn and this like lake in front of it and some woods off to one side. And it was just at the thrift store for like $10. And this dude probably easily spent, I don't know, $20, $30 just in paint to paint this. And this is a picture that would probably sell for like, I don't know, $100 or more, right? If he was to sell his own art. I don't know what he would price his art at, but I bought it, right, for $10. Or my wife bought it for $10, and I'm going to, like, do some little fun things to it. I'm going to add some stuff in there, but it's a weird thing, right? So another weird addition to our home. And then I bought some, what did I buy? I bought some, like, Blu-rays for, like, $1. I can't even remember what I got. I left them in the car. None of them were horror, though, I don't think. Frank, I should put them out on Halloween. You're right. I really should. They should be Halloween decorations. Yeah, maybe tomorrow on the Friday Night Creepshow, I'll show you guys the painting. It's, you know, I'd have to do too much to go out to the car and get it. I'd leave you guys here unattended for like 10 minutes, and I don't know if you guys can handle not being supervised for 10 minutes. So I feel like you all would either make a lot of trouble or you would leave, and I would come back and the stream would be dead. Either that or it'd be on fire. One of the two. But yeah, maybe tomorrow on the Friday Night Creepshow, I'll show you guys the painting. Maybe while we watch a horror movie tomorrow night, I'll even do some painting on this thing. Sort of like our pumpkin carving thing. Oh yeah, I should start putting Mr. T on the roof, right? Oh, let me show you guys this. Hang on. Let me see if I can find this picture. I'm going to just show you on my phone because I can't bring it up. Look at this right here. Okay, I'm going to hold it up to the camera. Can you guys see that? See those dinosaurs on that SUV right there? Me and my wife, we pulled up into Food Lion, a grocery store, yesterday, and this dude just has these dinosaurs, like, on his, like, they're like strapped down to the top of his car. I was like, I got to get a picture of that. Right? Like, this dude is, he's living the life. And there is a guy that drives around my town, and he has, like, a official-looking Jurassic Park Jeep, right? So there's actually two. There's a truck that has, like, I guess you would call them, not sirens, but, like, police lights on top. And I can't remember what his truck says, but it's something about, like, Jurassic Park, right? It's just like an old white Ford Ranger or something. And then there's a guy that drives, like, a Jurassic Park Jeep around, right? Like one of those old Explorers. Like, it's done completely up like the first movie. It's really, really cool. But yeah, like Tim Burton's dinosaurs, right? It is hilarious that I had just talked about that, and then I saw that truck. But you got to be, like, a super rad individual, right, to be riding around town with just some T-Rexes strapped to the top of your truck, you know? And this didn't look like something he was doing for Halloween. This just looked like something that this guy would just like have on there all the time, right? Because he also had some weird, like, I can't remember what the hell, like, he had a sticker that said something crazy on the side, too. Hang on, I'm trying to look. Oh, the sticker on the side of his door. You can't hardly see it in the picture, but it says, "I'm voting for the convicted felon." So interesting character. Also, I want to show you guys this real quick, right? So me and my wife, you know, we went out today and we got coffee, right? So it's Thrifting Thursday. We go around, we thrift. Like I said, we went to the thrift store, picked up that painting, some Blu-rays and stuff like that. And we went out to get coffee because that's what we do. We go thrifting, we get coffee or we get tacos or something like that. It's like a day date kind of deal. And so we went to the Cat Cafe, which is down the road from our house. And if you've never been to a cat cafe, they're like coffee houses with cats, right? And kind of cool, right? Especially if you like cats, you know, whatever. You can go, you can adopt cats, you can drink coffee, whatever. Has good coffee. But the one in our town, right, is the people that work it are kind of funny. And since for some reason we talk about emo music here a lot, for whatever reason, and I don't even really listen to emo music like that, you know, but it comes up on this stream a lot for some reason. The Cat Cafe had this sign out, and I thought it would be funny to take a picture of and share with you guys. It says, "You're fake as fuck if you stop being emo just because you're happy." That's on the coffee house sign. Thought you guys would enjoy that. So in honor of that, we're gonna play. Yeah. Yeah, so just thought you guys would enjoy that sign. Yeah, for some reason emo music comes up a lot on these streams. I gotta say, I mean, there's some bands that I listen to a good bit still, right? But I guess, you know, I do listen to metal mostly, which is the complete opposite, you know. But it's all sad boy music. You're right, Frank. Drew, yeah, we're emo boys. Yeah, so like the last gruesome game night, right, on Tuesday, we talked for a solid 45 minutes before we even started playing the game. And you know, maybe we can just talk. Maybe we don't even have to play the game tonight, unless you guys just want to see me play Alan Wake 2. Because for some reason I can talk nonstop. I don't know if that's a terrible thing or if it's a superpower. Probably it's bad. So here's a question for chat, right? So obviously, what is your favorite metal band, right? So if you had to pick, right, what is your favorite metal band of all time? There is no wrong answers. Frank asked, what is the first song I had in the Halloween vlog? So, I believe it was Bleeding Through, and I can't remember the name of the track. I could tell you. I would have to look it up. Let me see. It was a Bleeding Through song, though. I don't know what that sound is, guys. Apparently Windows isn't happy with me. Okay, I got it. I don't know why the hell it was making that sound. Yeah, it was a Bleeding Through song. I don't know which one it was. I can't remember. So, y'all says favorite metal band, probably something really obscure. I think that my favorite metal band, if I had to pick of all time, right? Of all time, favorite metal band would be Prayer for Cleansing. Of all time. And then if I had to pick a second, it would be Black Dahlia Murder. They never disappoint. Like, this is pre, like, Trevor's Suicide. So, like, before that. Yep. Alkaline Trio was the second song. Glad you picked up on those. I was going back and forth about what songs to put in the vlog. I just, you know, found some that kind of fit the mood, and you know, those were the ones. I used to love Bleeding Through so much. Like when what's that name of that album? I know it, it's on the tip of my tongue. Oh, Jesus Christ, what is the name of that album? Wow. It's not This Is Love, This Is Murderous. What is the name of that album, Frank? When that album came out, yeah, it is This Is Love, This Is Murderous. 2003, this album. When that came out in 2003, oh, that was a game changer musically for me. So I can actually look. Hang on, I can tell you what song that was. I'll have to look on. Maybe I can't. Just out of sheer curiosity's sake here. Let me see. I want to give a special shout out, by the way, to Mr. Nicholas Woodall. He has bought at least 4 Cinema Creep coffee cups. This one right here. He ordered one, I think, this morning. This one right here. And special shout out to Nick. Hang on, I'm looking for where the hell this song was, because in order to get those songs like that, I have to pay for them. And it's a pain in the ass. Pain in the ass. I'm looking for their email where they sent me a receipt of it. Okay, never mind. I'm not gonna sit here and look through this. But yeah, I was Bleeding Through. Yeah, so Bleeding Through, man, they have a lot of good stuff, right? So like I said, that whole album, This Is Love, This Is Murderous, anything before that was more metal, right? So they have, let me see. I'm not too crazy about their newer stuff, right? It's like all bands from that time period. They sort of got more and more watered down as time went. Obviously, the bands got a little bit older, but they have Portrait of a Goddess from 2002, right? So Portrait of a Goddess from 2002 was gnarly. This Is Love, This Is Murderous, that one that we just talked about. The Truth was pretty good. You know, they had some good stuff. Now they appealed to me early on because they were straight edge, and I just kind of liked their whole aesthetic, so to speak. And they were heavy, right? Like he would have some clean vocals. Brandon Chapetti, I believe, is the singer's name. He would have some clean vocals, but you know, they made up for it. And then they had like keyboard and synth and all that stuff in there, so they have like a black metal type influence. I really, really got into them hard and heavy. And then, of course, I got into Black Dahlia Murder super, super early. You know, Black Dahlia is still probably one of my favorite bands. Like I said, it would probably be my number 2 favorite metal band of all time. This album right here, Miasma, One of the all-time greatest metal albums. Also, Everblack was a solid album. And then one of my favorite songs of all time was Funeral Thirst. And that was on their 2003 album, Unhallowed. This one right here, right? Good front to back. And, yeah, Unhallowed. And that was the one and only time I ever got to see Black Dahlia Murder live, was when they were doing an Unhallowed tour. Got to stand side stage because I was taking photos. And, man, talk about a killer show. Chimera, I know the band. I never got into them though. I knew some people that were. I had some friends that were really into them. I know this song right here, I think. Are they from Cleveland, Ohio? Or am I looking at the wrong band? Is it Chimara? Is it Chimara or Chimera? I might be looking at the wrong thing. There's like 3 bands. Okay, so here's... Okay, maybe. There's this band also. Yeah, like I know the band. I just never listened to them. Like I said, I had friends that were into them, and they were into stuff like The Chariot and Dance Gavin Dance, and I know those bands aren't all the same, right? Like I think Chimera or Chimera or whatever I think was heavier, right? But I know that my friends that listened to that other stuff like Chiodos and stuff was into them. August Burns Red and stuff like that. Yeah, so yeah, so I would say that death metal and punk are probably my 2 favorite genres. And then, you know, like I listen to a lot of other stuff, right? I listen to some black metal, I listen to hardcore, I listen to a little bit of, I don't want to say a little bit of everything, but I do listen to a wide variety. Bleed the Sky. I don't know if I've... Let me look them up. Sounds familiar. No, I think I've seen their logo before. These guys here. But I don't think I ever listened to them. But I can add them if you recommend them. I'll add their top song right here to my library, and I'll check them out. Late 90s screamo music with math rock influence, like it's so good. Yeah, so you're talking about like, hang on, let me name a band. Are you talking about like late 90s screamo? Hang on. I know some early 2000s screamo, but the top song there, Frank, was, let me see, Minion. It's this one. I don't know if you guys can hear that or not. I'll check them out. So I'm trying to think of what a late 90s screamo band would have been. Are you talking about like Finch and stuff like that? Or are you talking about like who's a late 90s screamo band? Oh, you did. Yeah, you did. I remember. What was the name of that band? I can't remember. Because I remember you posted like a playlist link, right? In the community post for one of the live streams. Yeah, so if you guys notice that there is a resurgence though of like grunge music and nu metal and stuff like that lately. Like the younger generation, right, is starting to stray away from some of that mumble rap crap everybody was trying to do, and now they're starting to, you know, like play metal and stuff. It's really, really cool. Really, really stoked on that. That, you know, we're getting some, you know, some good stuff, you know, especially the younger crowd playing metal. Even if it is new metal, you know. So I want to show you guys what I've been snacking on for the last month, and it is probably causing internal bleeding, but I cannot stop myself on indulging on toxic waste, you know, candy, nonstop. You know, obviously sour candy is fantastic, but like toxic waste, shoo. I eat like 15 of these a day, and it's probably, you know, causing like my spinal fluid to leak out of my pores. I just had some in my pocket and I had to take them out. I was like, what's in my pocket? And that's what it was. You know how like old men, they always talk about old men have like Werther's Originals and like jingle change in their pocket, right? Me, I keep that toxic waste. Like if you go to the store and you see they have like the barrel of toxic waste, I'm the targeted demographic for that. So like we have we still have like a Halloween bowl, right, full of candy. Not the stuff that my son got, just stuff that we had bought for the house so we could eat during the month of October. And we just kept buying these big bags of like sour candy that had like toxic waste and like sour Smarties and all this stuff. And like, it's like, I swear to God, there's probably like 500 toxic waste in there. And it's so easy to just go buy the bowl, get you one, eat it. And I'm a cruncher because I don't know. Like I don't really like sucking on candy. I do for like a minute and then I bite into it. So like I'm just eating toxic waste like nobody's business. Toasted sandwiches. You've had 2 toasted sandwiches today. One of which was made with moldy bread. You still ate it. I mean, if you've taken a bite out of it, right? Like the damage is done. Just finish it. You know? So I have a story. True story. Let me tell you guys about it, okay? So I was probably 16 years old and I was doing community service, right? So I was doing community service. I've done community service twice in my life, right? And so the first time was I had to go to like a mine, right? Like MINE, a mine, like where people mine at, right? And rake leaves and shit like that. It sucked really bad. The second time I had to do community service, right, was at a recycling center. And so people would drive up, right, with their trash and their recycling, and it was me and the other community service people, right, to our responsibility to weigh their stuff, right, and that's how we would charge them, right, and then we also had to separate it. So you guys know that you can't, when you recycle plastic, not all plastic gets put together. That's what all the little numbers are on the bottom of like your plastic containers and stuff. Cardboard, we had to dig through their garbage essentially, right? And make sure glass was pulled out, make sure cardboard was pulled out, whatever, right? And so 2 things happened. right, during my community service. I think I had to do either 75 or 100 hours. So it was a couple days at this recycling plant, right? And two things happened. One thing is I showed people how to get free drinks out of the drink machine at the community service place, right? You know how you used to be able to. You used to be able to stick your arm up in the drink machine and pull the thing that dispenses the drinks, and the drinks would come out, right? So there's a drink here in America. It's called Brownie Chocolate. It's a knockoff of Yoo-Hoo. And me and all the community service boys, we were having unlimited brownie chocolates, right? Because I would just stick my arm up there and be like, hey guys, check this out. And I would show them how to get a free drink. And this is before like the drink machine people caught on, and they put that extra guard down there where like if you try and put your arm up there, you either could have a small, really like short arm, or you're breaking your shit off by sticking it up in there. Anyways, no, Frank, these are two completely different incidences. So the whole point of the story was about moldy bread, kind of. So trying to find ways to make our time pass by, right? The drink machine was one. Two was throwing bottles into the big dumpsters, right? Because they're enclosed and they just had like a square, so trying to stand back and throw bottles to try and get them in there without them hitting the side and shattering and us getting in trouble. And then the third way was gambling, right? Or putting money on dares and stupid stuff, right? So this guy pulled up, right? This older gentleman, he pulled up recycling his stuff, and we had to go through his trash, right, and recycle all of his stuff down. And he was recycling this gallon of milk, and the gallon of milk still had half the milk in it. He didn't pour it out, right? And it's our responsibility to make sure that gets poured out, kind of gets washed out with the hose a little bit, and gets recycled correctly, right? So me at the time, being an idiot, right, I was like, hey, fellow community service boys, right, if I drink this, it was probably less than a half a gallon. It was probably like a quarter of a full gallon of milk, right? If I drink this milk, will you give me $5? And they're like, oh, yeah, we'll do it. And I was like, okay. They were not expecting me to do it. So got this milk out of this dude's trash, which is disgusting, and drank it bottoms up. And it was chunky. It was so disgusting, but I made $5. And that's the only time I've ever eaten anything rotten like that. But yeah, your moldy bread story reminded me of that. But at some point, once you take a little sip, right? Like once I knew the milk chunks hit my lips, I knew that it was too late to stop. The damage was done. I had to just bottoms up, go for it, make my $5, and keep it moving. Wash it down with a free brownie chocolate, and we're good to go, right? That's how I spent my community service. Frank says $5 is $5. Yeah, I was an idiot. Still kind of am, but not. I would not do that today. Yeah, you could not catch me doing that at all today. Y'all said used to do dares so people wanted to be friends with them and do anything. Okay, so what was the wildest or dumbest thing that you would do? Or like wildest thing that somebody dared you to do? Leader of the community boys. Yeah, it was actually, yeah, I think it was all teenagers at that time too. I don't think we had any of those older weird guys there. Like people that are now my age doing community service, because those are the ones you got to be scared of. The ones that are younger doing community service, like, oh, what, did you steal some batteries from Walmart? Like, what? If the older guys are there doing community service, they probably murdered somebody, right? Or like, did something even worse. Those are the ones you gotta be kind of leery of. I am not a fan of breaking the law whatsoever. I am a law-abiding citizen. And I think that being young and dumb, you get into a little bit of trouble, but I don't think being young is a good excuse. Jump from heights, lick the floor, break into someone's backyard, or eat a bunch of food off the floor. So you basically were like a cat. Stole someone's food from their bag. Yeah, you were pretty much a cat. They were just like daring you to do cat stuff. Be like, now shit in that box over there. So Slim Jims are free game. Never a reason for my community service though, Frank. So somebody dared you to kick somebody in the nuts, and then you got beat up real bad because of it? Or how does that work out? You guys remember Brian, right? The guy, the punk kid, right? I wish I could have him on here, man. Like, I need to get back in touch with him and bring him on to tell stories about when we used to hang out. So Brian, he used to get drunk on purpose because it was the punk lifestyle thing to do, in his opinion, right? And then he would let me kick him in the ribs. Like, he wanted me to do it. So he would get on all fours, and he would let me football punt him in the ribs. He would ask me to do it. And I don't know why I ever went along with his weird masochist demands of kicking him in the ribs, but he took it like a champ. Poor Brian. I would really love to bring him on here and talk to him, as well as some of the other like weirdos I used to hang out with. So you stole their food, they beat you up, and you kicked them in the nuts. That's, I mean, who's in the right there? You know? Frank, if I could find the Wolfman, there is no, like, I hope that guy's still alive, right? I hope. But we're talking about, this was 22 years ago, probably, right? Like, yeah, like 22 years ago. Like, if that man is still alive, man, I don't even go, I haven't been out to that town in a long time. He might still be out there just running around howling at the moon. Feel free to go look for him. Salisbury, North Carolina, he's out there, or he used to be. 22 years ago. Holy shit. A long time ago. Getting old. But yeah, he's probably still out there, or he could be outside your bedroom window. But I would love to have characters like that. You know, my old friend Lee, the one who almost killed me every time I got in the car with him. He was the only one of my friends that could drive for the longest time. He got his license early, and this is before like Brian started driving us around in his old truck. And yeah, Lee would drive us around, but this guy would wreck cars left and right, and like, he used to do this thing, right? And this is how dumb of a teenager we were, right? So Lee would do this thing, and he would call it grass pass, right? And you would be on like a 2-lane country road. Okay, so imagine just your regular country road, 2 lanes, right? And instead of going around a car, right, that's going too slow, and passing them on the left, right, like you're supposed to, he would grass pass, right? So this is like some Mad Max shit, and this is 100% true. I know some of this stuff I say sounds outlandish, but I'm telling 100% true stories here. He would start beating on the roof, and he had like a he always drove like little shitbox cars. Nothing was fast, except for one car he had. But the grass pass car was a shitbox. It was a I think it was an old Chevy Cavalier, like the old square body kind. And he would start banging on the roof of his Cavalier like this as he's driving, right? And he would be chanting grass pass, right? And I'm just like slumped in the seat, scared as fuck, right? So he's yelling grass pass, and he would yank over to the right of the road to go around cars. Instead of going on the street around the left, he would go towards the right, and he would go through people's front yards and to pass cars. He would pass them on the right side. He would call this grass pass. Whether it's a field, whether it's your grandma's front yard, he's grass passing in that son of a bitch, and almost killing everybody in the car with him while beating on the roof of his car yelling grass pass. Scariest moments of my life were probably spent with this guy. But, you know, he was all around a pretty good dude. You know, like he had a heart of gold, right? Heart of gold, but, you know, he has his flaws, like everybody, right? You know, he just almost killed me every time I got in the car with him. So, if you ever get picked up in the middle of the night by a guy, right? And then he starts chanting grass pass, like if it's like an Uber or something like that, and you get in the car with him, and next thing you know, he's beating on a ceiling saying grass pass, tell him I said hey. You know, tell him Cinema Creep said hi. You've heard stories about him. And that might be the last thing that you ever say, because you're probably going to die. So Brian was not the guy that grass passed. It was a guy named Lee. Lee was the crazy driver, even though Brian would take out some fucking mailboxes with his truck. Oh, God. Okay, one more story, okay? One more story, and then I'm done telling stories, and we're going to play Alan Wake, okay? So Brian, you guys know I would talk about he would used to get drunk all the time, right? Because he would overdo it because it was the punk thing to do, right? Because you guys know street punks, they were always drunk. He didn't do drugs, he just drank, right? But you know, street punks, they're like all into drugs, they're all into drinking, not bathing, doing that whole thing, right? That's the lifestyle they live. And the more that they drink, the more of that stuff that they do, right? The more punk that they feel. So anytime that he could scrounge up a little bit of change for liquor, he would drink. And we would get it through various means, right? He would get it through people he knew, or somebody's parents just had it and he would swipe it, whatever. So one time, he drove his big Ford F-150. These are the you know, like the big square body trucks from like, I think it was like the 80s, right? The late 80s. And he had gotten drunk. He was in my house drinking, and then he went out to his truck to go to sleep, right? Because it had a bench seat like most older trucks do. And it was just a comfy place for him to sleep, because if he wasn't sleeping there, he was sleeping on the floor in the living room. And so he went out there, and he fell asleep, passed out, whatever. So we had this thing where we used to like paint each other's faces, you know, with makeup, or, you know, nail polish, paint each other's nails if one of us would fall asleep or something like that, you know, just as a prank, right? And this is sort of like, let me back up here real quick. So we used to dumpster dive a lot, and we dumpster dived behind this one place, like it was like a wig shop, right? So we had a bunch of wigs, we had a bunch of makeup, right? Because they just threw out boxes of this shit. So we had a whole big box of makeup, and this is why we started like putting makeup on each other when we'd fall asleep. So he passed out. We had all this makeup, right? And passed out in his truck. So we go out there, we start painting the side of his face, right? Like we're putting like red blush on him. That way, like when he wakes up, we were going to tell him he got sunburned, right? And anyways, that was the plan. That was the ultimate plan. And then we decide, okay, well, let's make him think that he wrecked his truck, right? So I had this big oak tree in the backyard of my house. And so what we did was we put his truck in neutral, right? And we pushed his truck into the tree. And what we did is we got in the truck with him. It was me, and I believe it might have been my friend Andrew at the time. I had 4 Andrews in my group at one time, but I think it was my friend Andrew at the time, and we get in there and we slam the door really loud and we start screaming, right? And he wakes up, because he was kind of like slouched over in the seat. He wakes up and he grabs the steering wheel and he's like, I got it, I got it, I got it. And, because he thought he was driving, because we were screaming and shit. And trying to make him think that he wrecked his truck. So he wakes up, starts trying to steer out of his wreck that he's thinking he's having in his mind, and then he leans over and he starts puking because he's so drunk. And so by this time, we hop out of the truck because we don't get puke on us. He's just throwing up in the floorboard of his truck, falls over in the bench seat and goes back to sleep, right? He has the whole side of his face, like kind of like lightly dusted with blush to make it look like he got sunburned. So he wakes up the next day. And he wanted to know, okay, well, what the fuck happened? Like, how did I get sunburnt? Like, he thought, he had slept in his truck all day and got sunburnt on the side of his face. He wanted to know why his truck ran into the tree, and we, not the nicest thing to do, but we gaslit him into thinking that he wrecked his truck into the tree, right? And that he slept most of the day, right, and got this sunburn on his face. So he went around the entire day with painted fingernails, because we painted his fingernails, and what he thought was a sunburn on his face, and he thought that he hit the tree with his truck. And it was the funniest thing to us for like a month, Like, we told him probably after the weekend was over. This lasted probably like 3 days, because he would go on and talk about, I can't believe I didn't mess my truck up any more than that. When I hit it, I don't remember driving home and all this stuff. And like, I was like, yeah, man, it's yeah. So that was one of the dumb things we did. Oh, okay. One more story, and then I'm playing Alan Wake. Okay. So this sounds terrible. Okay. But here's how you can gauge if you have a real friend, okay? It's sort of like a litmus test. All right, so like I said, I had a friend named Andrew, right? And I wish I could bring him on. I don't talk to any of these people really anymore because I don't have social media. I don't have any of their phone numbers. Just kind of lost touch over the years. But had a friend named Andrew, right? I was friends with him and his brother named Kevin. They were stepbrothers, right? Hung out with Andrew more. I guess just because we had the same name, right? But so there was Andrew, and then there was a kid named John, and then there was Lee, there was Kevin, there was Brian, and then there was another Andrew. There was a whole group of us that hung out all the time. Now, here's how this story goes. All right, so Lee, remember, he got his license early, so he was the only one out of us that drove for like the first year of us all hanging out, right? That's why you kind of had to put up with how he drove, right? And risk dying if you wanted to go to like the mall or you wanted to go to Walmart, and you didn't want to walk. Sometimes I didn't feel like dying, so I would walk places, right? Now, I had stayed the night at John's house, right? John lived by car probably 15 minutes away from me, and we're in the country, right? So it's country roads from his house to mine, right? Just like fields on both sides. And so I'd stayed the night with him, and we were walking from his house back to my house, right? And in between our two houses, right, in between this 15-minute drive, Andrew, the other Andrew, he lived in that area, right? So we were walking from John's house to my house, right? And this probably took an hour and a half to walk that. And so we're walking along, whatever, just walking along, two punk kids out in the country, and we come across a dead deer, and we're like, holy crap. It was like obliterated. Something hit it, and it exploded all over the road. We're like, this is disgusting, right? So we pass by it. We just keep on walking. And then I shit you not, the next car that comes by is Lee, right? The guy that drove us all around, right? Because he lived in the vicinity. He's just barreling down the road, and he sees us, right? Locks up brakes, skirt, right? And so he's going to pick us up, right? And we're like, oh, hey, Lee, what's up? Blah, blah, blah. Like, we're walking this way to my house. You know, can you give us a ride? And he's like, yeah, I got you. And we started telling him about the dead deer, right? And he was like a farm boy, right? He's like, I want to get its antlers, right? So he goes back to the deer because he wants to get its antlers, which he didn't, because from the time where he picked us up at back to the dead deer spot, we say, oh, you know what would be funny, right? And this is not funny. It was at the time, right? But this is not funny at all. We said, what if we wipe the deer's blood all over the front of your car, right? And then we drive up to Andrew's house and we tell him that we hit a kid that was walking on the side of the road and see what he says. This is not funny by any means. This is not something that is funny, right? But it was at the time when I was like 16 years old. So we go up to the dead deer spot, right? And so we get some like papers because he obviously didn't have gloves in his car. So he decides, okay, well, I can't get these antlers to mount them or whatever the fuck his family did with them. So he's hanging out, and me and John, the other kid, were like wiping blood using like I don't even know. I think it was like you know how you get that shit in the mail that nobody wants, like the Food Lion ads and the grocery store ads and stuff. We're wiping blood all over the front of the car and trying to put handprints going down it. And like I said, this deer got hit. It was obliterated, so there's like meat chunks and all kinds of stuff. So we're like shoving meat in the grill of his car, right? And okay, so we get it looking the way we want it to look, right? It looks disgusting. So we pull up to this friend's house, right? Andrew's house, right? And we're trying to work ourselves up on the way there. Like, all right, we gotta act upset. So we pull in the driveway, and we knew his parents weren't home because they both worked. It was like middle of the day, and we get out and we start freaking the fuck out. We're banging on his door saying, boom, 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 boom. You know, we're like yelling his name. And he comes out. He's like, oh, what's going on? And we're like, oh, we just hit a kid, you know, blah, blah, blah. We're pretending to freak the fuck out, right? He's like, oh, he was driving down the road. And everybody knew how crazy Lee drove, right? So it was believable, right? Because like I said, Lee almost always killed you when you're in the car with him. And he was like, oh, shit. You know, he's like, pull around to the back. So this guy, right? I shit you not, told us to pull around behind his dad's like little garage area, right? So he could hose off the front of the car and hide this crime. Like, litmus test, right? So basically, he's freaking out with us. We're still trying to play it up, and he's hosing off the front of the car, saying, oh, it's going to be all right, guys. We're going to get rid of all this right here, you know. Anyways, probably about 30 minutes of him helping us clean the car until we told him, hey, like, it's deer guts. And so much relief you could just see on his face, right? Because he was 100% thought he was, like, helping us cover up a crime. And that was a terrible prank to play on him. But yeah, so there you go. But his litmus test, because he was down to get his boys out of trouble. I wouldn't do anything dumb like this anymore. I just want to put this as a disclaimer. I was 16 years old. This was like 2004, right? It was a different time. Wouldn't do it these days. Yeah, so that's that story. It's the last story I'm telling for the day. I'm going to put on this game. If anybody has anything they want to share, because I feel like I've overshared, then, you know, then let me know. If you guys have anything else you want to talk about. That got kind of heavy there for a minute.
Disrespect your surroundings!
The deer was disrespected. So with that, I want to say that I don't support any kind of animal cruelty. The deer was already dead, right? It's not like we killed the deer for this prank. Lee did not get his antlers that he wanted, though. So if anybody else has any pranks that they were ever part of, or they were the person that got pranked, let me know. I would love to hear your story. Because I feel like that's one that I should have just kept locked away. Alright, so let me get this game cranked up. So, again, if you're just tuning in, we've been talking for an hour and 40 minutes about all kinds of shit. And we're supposed to be playing Alan Wake 2. Here we go. Maybe, once this game loads up. Yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed that little tidbit. Oh yeah, the barcode thing. Yeah, that was a good one. I wish I could pull off pranks like that these days. Like, I wish I could prank something, but in good fashion, because I will tell you this, right? I hate prank YouTubers. Like, you know, where they come in the grocery store and they put a bucket on somebody's head, and, you know, then they turn around and act like they have a bucket on their head, you know, like that kind of stuff. I hate that stuff. That stuff is so dumb. I hate like prank YouTubers so much. But back in the day, you know, pranks were a good time before it became, you know, like YouTube stuff, in my opinion. Okay. Alright guys, so this is Alan Wake 2. So I do want to say that I played this a little bit further than our last stream. And said the stories continued to get thick, you know, so I don't know when this game is going to end. I have no clue how many hours you're supposed to put into this game. But like I said in the community post, I really, really want to see what the ending of this is going to be. I'm having a lot of fun playing it. I know it's kind of
I brought it back.
Maybe not the most interesting game to watch on stream because it's kind of slow. But, you know, if you like a good horror story, sit back, get you some coffee, get you some snacks. Feel free to continue to talk in the chat about whatever the hell you want to talk about. Ask me questions, make fun of me, or just talk about the game. But here we are. So right now, we're in the Saga Anderson story, and I am looking for one of the two brothers, right? I'm looking for Tor, one of the old guards of Asgard brothers. He is in the overlap, which is basically sort of like the Upside Down from Stranger Things, with an old lady named Cynthia. And you're going to see her, you know,
You can
feed me some clapperoni and cheese in a minute.
I'm getting you the hell out of here.
Because I played this part earlier and I died, and then I stopped playing. Alright, so I noticed that a lot of these monsters in this game are starting to be very reminiscent of like Deadites, and I'm here for it. So I need to get like a flare ready. Okay. Alright. So look at this shit right here. Tell me that's not very Deadite like. This is the old lady Cynthia. Right, she's the one that's about to clap my cheeks. I mean, look at her just fucking floating there. She's gonna start chasing me, running after me in a minute. Get that flare. Damn it. Just wait till she starts chasing me. It's scary as fuck. That almost killed me somehow. Yeah. Yeah, I don't understand how water's killing me, but it's dark water. So
What's your favorite scary movie?
okay, here we go.
And I brought it back.
That's why I say Evil Dead is probably, or Evil Dead 2 is one of the greatest horror movies ever made. I feel like so many games, so many movies take
to him yourself.
inspiration from it.
The hell out of here.
Alright guys, we're gonna start with the shotgun this time. Okay. Holy shit. Oh fuck. Oh god damn. Run. 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 I'm in my inventory. Shit. I was stuck in my inventory. Frank, I hope you do yell at Grass Pass just in memory of Lee. I mean, he's alive still, but or I think he is. I wonder what he's doing.
The record and I brought it back.
Last time I talked to him, I was in my early 30s, so probably nearly 10 years ago on Facebook. I think he owns an HVAC business.
You can apologize to him yourself. I'm getting you the hell out of here. That did it.
Alright, I got this big rifle. Takes forever to reload, but I think it has a little bit more stopping power. Alright, Granny, where you at? Oh, come on. It shouldn't be able to get me behind that. What the fuck? How is this survivable? Oh, fuck. Yeah, I don't know how I'm gonna beat this. I'm sure I'm doing something wrong. So, I wonder how many people tuned in earlier as I was telling these stories, and they're like, this is not Alan Wake 2, and they left.
I'm sorry, I fucked everything up.
You can apologize to him yourself.
Probably like, I would rather not
I'm
hear
getting you the hell out
about
of
you
here.
using deer blood
That
in a
did it.
prank. I'll say it was not my proudest moment. Alright, we're gonna hit her with a flare first thing. Eat that flare, Grandma. Oh shit, that just made her mad. Oh, fuck. Help me, Dale Earnhardt. Oh, shit, no ammo. Fuck. Where's she at? Why am I spazzing out with the... Oh, come on, don't tell me the game's fucking up. Why is it doing that? It's almost like she gets like a double kill. You're kidding me. Oh gosh, come on. I felt like I was kicking her ass that time. Started out strong. Takes so long to heal. And every time you heal, she does that stupid water thing.
I took the record and I brought it
Alright.
back.
I can't see a goddamn thing.
So I think flares,
Tell Odin
starting with these,
I'm sorry I fucked everything up.
is gonna bring that
You
heat
can
for Grandma.
apologize to him yourself. I'm getting you the hell out of here. That did it.
Grandma? Quick, take the pills. I need whatever's in there. Oh shit, what the hell's happening? Oh. Chat, if anybody out there knows what to do, I am all ears. Because I am getting clapped. So when do I start putting up Christmas decorations? I
Brought it back.
put up the Christmas tree on Thanksgiving Day. So between then and the 25th, I need to go get that giant abominable
You can
snowman
apologize to him
from
yourself.
Lowe's.
I'm getting you the hell out of here. That did it.
Christmas. Yeah, I talk like I'm 4 sometimes. You guys know that though. Alright. Grandma. Grandma's eating bullets like 50 cents. Nope. I need to be faster. Okay, so I can't hide behind the walls or do that. Alright, I'm doing something wrong here. So I hope we get snow. We haven't had snow like where I'm at in... you said run away from witch strategy. Yeah, that worked in 1837. Was it 1837? The name of that game? So we haven't had snow where I'm at in probably 3 years. But the last time we got that major snow...
You can apologize to him yourself.
I got stranded. It took
I'm
me...
getting you the hell out of here.
Normally it takes me 39 minutes to get from work to my house. It took me like 3.5 hours, and I had to walk part of the way home. It was so terrible. I thought I was gonna die. I met so many strangers on my journey home from work, helping them push their cars out of ditches and shit. I wonder what they're up to. I wonder if they ever think about how we had that in common that day. Maybe that's what I have to do. Oh, 4 rounds left. Let's go. Yeah, so my car got stuck multiple times, like 3 or 4 different times. And sometimes I was able to push it out myself. Sometimes other people stopped and helped push me out. And then I would see a car that needed help getting pushed out, and I would try and push them out. And all roads that lead to my house are uphill. So I eventually, when I finally got in my neighborhood, I couldn't make it up the hills to my house. So I had to just park my car down at the bottom of my neighborhood and just walk. And it was treacherous. It was like,
That did it.
it was that year that we had the blizzard-like conditions. I'm trying to remember what year that was. 2018, maybe? Alright, where you at, Grandma? Don't die, don't die. I don't even know where the fuck she's at. How the shit? I don't have a crossbow. I probably neglected to get one of those. Cynthia comes in close, switch the shotgun and blaster. Yeah, shotgun is like my go-to, but I also have these propane tanks that are explosive. Thanks for letting me know how to do this, Frank. Which is, I think, what we were trying to do already, just trying to do it with a pistol.
I'm getting you the hell out of here.
Boom Squad. Either one of you Boom Squad boys still out there? I think y'all are playing Phasmo right now, right? Are y'all online playing gaming? Come on. Oh shit. No. She's running. Oh shit. Oh god dang, I got no fucking... I have no shotgun rounds left. Oh shit. Fuck. Did we do it? Oh, we did it.
And then the Lord said,
We did it.
I'm closer now.
Holy hell, that was
Help me
close.
get closer to escaping.
Wake? Where are you? Is this coming from the dark place when you were still trapped? I have the clicker. We can finish this.
Not the clicker. You can help. I must find it.
I already have it. I can get it to you. But I have to understand. Did you write Logan into the story?
Lad's in danger.
Did you guys
I
know
need to get back. I'm writing a
the
story
budget
to
for this game was $75 million?
Then change the story. If this is the
75
past,
million.
if this is you still
That's
in
what I
the
read
dark
online
place, then
today.
you can do that, right? You cannot write her in. She's my daughter, goddammit.
It's like the biggest, I think this was made in Finland. It's like the biggest art
Logan is in the story.
project in Finland or something like that.
I have the clicker.
Frank, I'm gonna add Throne right now.
He had no right to do this to Logan. To my family. Tor,
Oh, fucking hell.
are you okay?
Hey, took your sweet
Check this
time
out. I'm
to
adding
say
them
to
right
Grandpa.
now. I'm gonna listen to them
Nice attitude. A family trait?
later on tonight.
You're right. Sorry. Thanks for helping out an old bastard like me.
That's my job. Now, I've got some questions for you.
Of course you do, sweetie pie.
He said sweetie pie, I heard it.
I got answers.
Oh. I feel like we are, if not the first, the second best gamer in the world. Together, as a collective, the Cinema Creep. All of us together. Me in the chat. Me and you guys. Best gamers. Okay. Alright, Tor.
We need to talk.
That's pure sarcasm. I suck at games.
Lots for me
If
to
you're new here,
explain.
just listen to my
They're
bullshit.
not here. The night's got ears. We can have our talk in your head. You have a room there, right?
How do you know about that?
I'm your grandfather. What don't I know?
If anybody in the chat has a grandpappy like that, you know, put a G in the chat for grandpappy. Alright, so we need to
You
profile
know about
him.
my mind place? How is that possible?
We all have the power. Find the truth. Damn right I do. Odin already told you you're a seer. You can gaze into their heads, see the truth.
Hope I look half as cool as
past the
Tor
lies.
when I'm that age.
Past this bullshit horror story. Us Andersons aren't bound by it. You can fight it. Don't be the story. Make the story.
It's true. I am a seer. I have a power. My mind place is more than I thought it was. This isn't my intuition. I'm seeing their thoughts. Is this why I know the truth about Logan? While everyone else forgot?
Yeah, I had a great-grandfather in World War II.
You said you were my grandfather. If that's true, why wasn't I told about it?
And some
You were
uncles and
part
stuff
of
in
our
Vietnam,
fucked up
and
family. Way
almost
before
all my
this
family was
horror
military except for
story.
me and my dad. Like all the
I
men.
was a shitty fucking dad to Freya. Your mom didn't deserve that. Not one bit. Things were said and done. Not a day goes by I haven't regretted it. But that fucking father of yours didn't make things any easier. I know Freya is gone. So I need to apologize to you. I am sorry, Saga.
I can see he's sorry.
I had an
Mom
uncle
said
that was
she
like a
didn't want anything to do
paratrooper
with my grandfather.
in
And that
Desert Storm.
My father died before I could remember. It all matches. Tor and Odin aren't part of my family.
Honestly, I'm so far removed from like my family, like my great grandparents and stuff like that, that I wish I would have been closer to them. Like my great grandfather that was in World War II. I mean, he's passed for like years and years now. I wish I would have spent more time with him, because you got to remember, like, I was living in North Carolina and all my family's in Texas. So when I moved up to North Carolina when I was like, I don't know, maybe 12, I was away from all of them, and then they just kind of like passed away.
Freya never looked back.
Unfortunately, I wish I knew some of the stories.
My girl was strong. Freya always thought our powers had a dangerous side. Odin and me did fuck with things that should not have been fucked with. Your mom had common sense. She raised you right. Kept you safe. I'm not surprised she didn't tell you about the Anderson.
Do you remember when I showed you guys
She was always
the
protecting me.
that weird little Hills Have Eyes town with the house that had the
She called it make
dirt airplane strip in front of it? That was my great grandfather's
been more
house, the one that was
honest
in
with
World War II.
At least towards the end. Mom wouldn't talk about my father. You knew him?
Some doors are better left closed. Your dad was a complicated bastard. Always thinking too many steps ahead. That's not how we work. There was trouble, and then he was gone. I didn't handle it well. Freya didn't want anything to do with me after that. I can't blame her.
I
Horde
never knew my
mode.
dad or my mom's family. So many broken relationships in my past. I won't lose mine. With Logan. With David. I won't stop until they're safe. I have the clicker. Can I use it to save my daughter?
An amp. Get your guitar roaring and your drums crashing.
Hell yeah.
Oh, reality's eardrums. Just the light switch isn't enough. It's Tom's story we're dealing with, so he's gotta be the one to rewrite it. After that's done, he can flick that switch to bring the whole thing home, baby.
I can't use the clicker without Wake. Tom. Meaning Wake. He needs to rewrite the story first. I can't stop the horror story without him.
I wonder if I could find out any information, Frank, about it. Like I said, I honestly don't know much. I just know that he was in World War II. I don't know where he was stationed. I don't know how many Nazi scalps that he collected. I just know that he made it out alive. I wish I knew more. And current state Andrew, right? Like current state me, I would inquire about such things. But when I was younger, like 12 years old, I didn't inquire about any of it. I'm very surprised that I didn't grow up and, become a vet or something, because it was always around me with like my grandpa and their house, like the stuff that they would keep in their home. There was just pictures of all my uncles that were in the Navy and the Marine Corps and the Army, I don't know. But my dad never went in. So if my dad went in, I probably would have gone in, I assume. If it would have been closer to, like, my immediate family. Because Wake wrote the story. Only Wake can edit it. Where am I putting this? Dark Presence? Nope. I thought about joining the military when I was like 18 for like a week. And I want to say that I think it has its good points. I think it has its bad points. I have a lot more opinions on it nowadays.
To rewrite the ending.
But
and I'll need to keep an eye on him.
Definitely appreciative to anybody that has served. I don't think it's an easy thing to do. Like if you're a combat vet, like
the
definitely
story doesn't affect me like it does other people.
Have a lot of respect for those people.
Because of who I am.
Not necessarily the reason
because of my family.
that we're fighting wars, but the people that go and sign up, have a lot of respect for them. Alright, I need to read this. An area around an overlap is always flooded. Alright, that's got to go down here. Enter the dark place by playing Tord and Odin's song.
Overlaps require pieces of art to enter. Is that because of the dark place's focus on art?
I don't know if I'd make it out if I was deployed anywhere, though. I'm pretty shit at Call of Duty.
Wake wrote Logan into the story. He had no right.
Yeah, honestly, I wish I would have spent more time.
There's still time to make him fix it.
With
I won't give him a choice.
both my grandfathers. But just by the way that my family was, being halfway across the country from them, I mean,
here in the overlap.
As a kid, I really had no chance. And it sucks. Even sometimes, like with my parents, since I'm sort of just like excommunicated from them, like we don't really associate. There's a lot of family history that I wish I knew of, but I don't, And I never talked to my sister about that Texas Ranger thing. I need to hit her up about it. Cynthia wanted the record. Tor would have done anything, she said. Okay, so I need to... That's got to go here. Right? How does that not go where it says record? Oh. Probably goes here. Right? Right here. And then Cynthia goes here as well. Okay. Fact versus fiction. What do we have here? Tor, my father had problems. There was trouble. Freya took me away after that. Alright, all Andersons have powers. Mom never told me about them because she thought they were dangerous, wanted me to have a normal life. The Tor's power was dangerous, didn't want me around it. I hate it when she does that in such disapproval when I'm trying to put these pictures down. Okay. What was this picture again? Tor and Odin understand the true nature of the mind place. Okay. The mind place isn't some mental technique. It lets me inside people's heads to see the truth. So trying to guess
Odin can actually speak with me
where all these things go can sometimes be
Thanks to
annoying,
their
so
own
just bear with
powers.
me. What did this one say? Our family is not bound by Wake's story. The Andersons can see through the horror story. Okay. Nope. Let me see. What do we got here? No? No? Okay.
Tor and Odin are my relatives. The evidence fits with what I know is true. It's a lot to process. She